Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another broadcast of bRho Talk. We are here with you today. We have a subject that I'm looking forward for us to talk about today, especially has to do with fathers and their children and protection. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. But just like we do in every show, first thing I want to do is check in with you brothers and see how y'all doing. How's the week getting started for you? Is Monday for each of y'all brothers? Yeah, it's so Monday, man. Both of y'all are on mute.
I know. I seen that. Muted Monday, man. That's what we calling it, right? Yeah, Monday is Monday, man. Had a day full of meetings today. Had a couple breaks in between, but you know, still meetings. Like I had one meeting today. It was supposed to be an hour, and 2 hours later, we just wrapping up. So I'm sure we all been in those situations. But man, I'm blessed, man. I got to leave as soon as that meeting was over. I left work and went over to the field, sat in a muddy field, and watched Eli and Zoe play t-ball for a little bit. So yeah, got a chance to get outside, enjoy a little bit of the sun. We got a couple more warm days coming up tomorrow, so definitely kind of looking forward to those. But yeah, that was pretty much my Monday. And then once the kids get home, so if you hear some noise in the background, that's just everybody coming in the house in a minute. So just I apologize in advance.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, this is kids being kids, man. You got a house with a family, and so noise is part of the package.
Comes with it.
Comes with it.
Broski, how about you, man?
Man, for me, man, I'm just grateful that I'm alive today. Everything is good. My job, we have this work from home. You get 1 day a week work from home. They're trying it out. So
It's today your day?
Today's the day, yeah.
Yeah. Mine's on Monday now too.
But it's not every Monday. The days change up, so change the days up. Yeah, it's not like a constantly Monday. But I'm saying God is good, bro. I'm good. My kids, they good. I'm saying, so I'm cool.
Hey man, listen, man. As long as you got God on your side, man,
Yes, sir.
you can do all things. All things.
All things.
Christ who strengthens
me.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. As y'all can see, I am not in the attic because if I was in the attic, I would be sweating profusely up there. I don't have adequate insulation or air circulating in the attic, so I am in the living room with my missus, Brandy Hayes, my wife. It doesn't have the same effect because
get it in, bro. Get it in now.
Get it in now. Get it in now. The missus.
Yeah. The woman I married.
The woman you married, son.
What up, sis? How you doing?
What up, big?
They said, what up? So, shout out to my cousin that just got out. What's up, Shan? And yeah, man, so things are going well. We had a great trip yesterday. We went to Niagara Falls, took the kids on their first international trip. So it was a good time. We
don't call
looked
it
at the
man. It's not no international.
Come on, man. They kids, man. They kids.
It's
they
over
kids,
the border.
Man.
Over the border.
Kids, man. We'll get them to Jamaica at some point.
Just saying, get them somewhere. You don't have to be Jamaica, man. You take them to
get
Florida.
Them across the water.
To say Florida is more international than.
Yeah, we took them to Florida. Yeah. We took them to Florida two years ago. Went to Disney World. That was a great experience.
Oh, yeah,
but they got there first.
I remember that trip.
Yeah.
Curry was still complaining about his pocket, man. Like, yo, man.
Listen, if you go to Disneyland and you come back, man, and you still got a house that you can afford to pay for, yeah, you got money.
Bro, it took me 2 years to recover, man. Well, like,
yo. Dude, man, let it go, man. You take them.
Nah, man. Disney World was a great time, man. They were old enough to remember it, old enough to get on the rides. You know, Brandy actually did a great job. She's the one that did the majority of the planning for it. So we had a good time.
I mean, yeah. You have to tell us that. Like, we know.
Y'all knew that already, right? We already knew that.
We
Y'all already knew
know.
that.
My first time knowing it, man.
It's like me saying that. It's like me getting out here and saying, "Yeah, we took the kids down to da 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 da." I only helped if I drove. You know, I ain't playing anything. I ain't helping pack. They could have went down there with 2 left shoes on. I wouldn't have known until I got there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we know it wasn't you.
Hey, man, you know, I heard somebody say, and I don't know, Bruce, correct me, man. I heard this was like a Jamaican proverb, but it says the man is the head, but the woman is the neck that controls the head.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, man.
Man.
The neck rolls, and that makes so much sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Kareem.
Yes,
ladies, y'all heard what Kareem is saying about y'all right now? Like the neck roll. Yeah. That's all Kareem, y'all.
Neck roll.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's all Kareem. Say it again, Kareem.
Say it again. All right, so I don't know if this is Jamaican. Man, listen, you go to the replay and they can listen to it. So everybody that's watching, this is how we talk. This is how we joke with one another. So bRho isn't here right now, but I'm sure he's probably going to get on at some point. But I want to get into this conversation and you know, for everybody that's watching. Today we're going to be talking about, you know, protection of children. But the question is, how far is far? That don't even sound right. Let me rephrase that. How much is too? When is it too much, or is it even ever too much? You know, we hear people say things. They'll go to jail for their kids. They'll die for their kids, and like I get it, like the gesture and everything like that. But a part of me just thinks logically in the point of like, well, if you're not on this earth, then how are you gonna help your kids? Because you can't protect them if you're not here. So that's that part. But then
well, so let's talk about that real quick, right?
Before we get into the video that we saw,
yeah. So I think that's situational, right? I think there's certain things that absolutely I'm gonna die for if it, you know, has anything to do with my kids, right? You know, if there's anything that I can do to make sure that they're still alive in a certain situation, and I'm putting myself in all the risk, yeah, without question, it's gonna happen, right? But I understand what you're saying as well, too, right? Some people will be like, oh, you gonna hit my kid? Listen, I'm gonna die for my kid. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna knock you out and I'm gonna do all this, and then you end up you in jail, right?
Yeah.
Like, how is that benefiting your child in any way, shape, or form? How was that action or that reaction to the situation benefiting your child, right? And I think that's kind of where you got to kind of find that balance. So, and that's why I say it's situational, because there's certain things that, you don't do dumb stuff to do any. That's not doing anything for your kid, right? Going up to a school and cursing out a teacher, how is that helping your child, right? At that point, the rest of the year for your kid is done in that class, right? You didn't help that situation at all. So I think you got to look at it situationally when you having that conversation.
But what happened when cursing out that teacher? It just feels so good, and you let them know who you are. You giving them a piece of your mind, let them know that you ain't nothing to be played with.
So everything you just said was you. You didn't say your child in any statement, right? So that was all about
the point.
You and
that's
your
the point,
feelings, right? Yeah, exactly. That's about you and your feelings at that point in time, right? While I was shaking his head because he just went. That's where he's coming from. He just cursed out a teacher.
B, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, B. What's going on, sir?
Not much, bros, man. Just got out of a meeting, but so I apologize for being late. But yeah, stuff like
bRho said F all that. bRho said F all that. I'm going in 100%.
I'm not with the whole cussing out teachers administrators and all that, I feel like that's we do such like low vibrational things. Like I just, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. It gets frustrating to me because I feel like we're too often too quick to show the worst side of ourselves, as opposed to showing that there, there's so many other ways that we can problem solve and resolve issue situations. I think the one issue that I have in observing, situations in terms of seeing people cuss out teachers and administrators has been this. I feel like a lot of times, to Isaac's point, it's not even just to about me, because I felt the need to cuss out that teacher. Really, a lot of it is guilt conscious stuff. You haven't been everything that you know you should be to your kid. So what you do is you justify or defend them in wrong, or so that way you can alleviate your own guilt consciousness.
Yo, B, don't gloss over that, bro. That's deep. Let's dissect that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I feel like parents sometimes even for those of us who are we full-time parenting, right? Even when you be like, man, I know I shouldn't let my kids stay up another 20 minutes, but man, all right, man, okay, here go 10-15 minutes. I can't give you the whole 20 you want to stay up, or I know you just got toys for your birthday and we out of store, and I know I shouldn't. So I'm saying I get it and I understand that even as parents who are as actively engaged and involved in their kids' lives as we are, we sometimes be like, man, was I too mean, or was I too harsh, or you know what I mean, in a situation? So when people haven't been as engaged and involved, and they're dealing with the guilt that comes with that, because if you any kind of a parent, you're gonna deal with situations where you feel a little guilty at times. So if you're dealing with that in any kind of way, then what happens is you have to alleviate that guilt some kind of way. And I think oftentimes when people who know they haven't been all they should be as parents, find an opportunity to win their kids back, because you start to lose your kid, you don't have their ear as much. You can't say, hey man, let's go to the movies, and they be like, oh yeah man, I'm all right. When you start getting that kind of response from your kids, what people start doing is they're trying to figure out ways, how can I get our relationship back restored.
But
So
you know what though, B? But you know what though? But like, don't you think that relationships with kids just change over time? Like, there will be a period of time when your kid just not gonna want to pump with you like that. Not because they don't like you, but because of the fact that their friends have more influence and they want to be with their friends and do what their friends say. And all you really could do is just stand and be that parent.
Yeah, I think that comes. That though. You know that difference when you've been there as a parent. You are, and when you haven't been, you know that it has a lot more to do with the fact that you haven't been where you
That's
should
it.
be when
Is
you
it
get there.
insecurity? You think it's an insecurity? Because I feel like this happens more, at least in our culture. I know us as men, as fathers, we kind of get the brunt of that feeling of like, well, maybe I ain't really been there. I've been at work. I've been doing this, or maybe, they had to go upstate, whatever the case may be, or even, off in the military, whatever. Like, I think that sometimes falls a little bit more on us though. And I love to hear the other brothers too, but I think that falls more on us as dads. I don't think it falls on moms as much. That's what I think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I definitely see it. I see it with dads, and I see it with moms too.
Mm,
I've seen moms, man, come in there and cuss out folks in the schools, and
mm,
be like, man, was that warranted? Was it warranted? And what did your child learn from that? But again,
mm.
I know you feeling guilty because. So here's what happens. That mom know that she done went off on the kid because she really mad at the kid's dad. So all those types of things, those relational dynamics, I think, play into it.
Well, bro, like, what's your experience like with this, man? Because I know you've seen this probably in the school system when you was working, or even like now, man. Like, what's your thoughts on it?
For me, in the school system, I thank God that I never get cussed out to like how I see other people get cussed out. And I think it's all about how you relate. It's a big piece when you're in the school system, how you relate to those have-nots. You know, how you talk to the parent. I remember when I was in Brooklyn, I was teaching in Brooklyn, 8th grade. I have my class was 805. That's the last class before you go. They deem you a special ed, and they have 801, 802, 803, 804, and 805. I got 805, and my kids. When I tell you that my kids perform, they perform because I make them believe in themselves. Right? I run my class like it was a family. We eat together, we fight together. That's the type of, if you mess with somebody, you get your face smacked off. I ain't writing nothing up. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business, right? So that was that was my class. I got my rules in my class, right? And I tell people all the time. And you know, I see other parents come up in parent-teacher meeting. A principal walk around wondering how I have so many people in the hallway waiting for me to talk to me, and then he goes down to 801 or 802. They have two people there waiting and want to know what's up, what's go. He had me speaking in the auditorium about how I do my thing, right? And one thing we fail to understand: teachers, parents are very intimidated of teachers. Why?
Yeah.
Some parents think they're not educated enough to have a conversation, right? So now, if I call a parent and I talk to a parent, and he sound like he's from Red Hook in Brooklyn, I'm gonna talk to her. I'll talk to him or her like I'm from Red Hook in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Joseph.
You gonna match that.
I'm gonna match
the energy vibe. Right? Yeah.
I have parents very intellectual. They talk to me. Hey, Mr. Hayes. Hey, Mark, how are you today? He's gonna get, hey, Mr. Hayes, how you doing? You're doing all right? You know, he's gonna get that. The voice, I don't have to be, hey, what's good? What's up with you? I don't have to be like that, right? So I know the difference. So I meet them where they at, right? So, and with their kids, when their kids do bad, I never really call home. I used to handle it. You know what I'm saying? When they getting calls home and say, hey, man, you know, you scored this on the test today. I don't know if you could work with him on this, you know, give him some good things and some things that I feel like that individual. So that's how I operate with my, so I never got it. But I see parents, I see other teachers, man, get lit out the box. You know, even got threatened. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the one to have to go and be like, my man, you can't do that. Because the signal that you're sending to your little man, it's no good. Because he's going to come here and act like that. And I would have those conversations, right? And not knowing if the dude have a piece on him or, you know what I'm saying? But I used to be the one that goes like that. And my school is in the hood, Far Rockaway, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I look at things that I used to do. I used to be like, man, you stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's not your business. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was going to say, like, what empowered you to even do that, right? Because you didn't have to. Like,
I didn't have to.
You got your own classroom. And
my whole classroom.
Stepping in and helping somebody else out.
And usually, man, it's one of my home girl and one of my homeboys. We're in the 8th grade, so we're family. So I have to defend my family too. But I know how to take it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know how to do it. And I used to just do that, man. And they'd be like, you know, this, Mr. G, you're right. But you know, I've been trying to get in contact with this and this won't do it. He talked to me like, you know, this. I said, I hear you. My apologies.
But that always sets parents off, man. When one, we give them the runaround, we talk to them like they stupid, right? Yeah. Or we make assumptions about them, like, well, they're not around anyway, so we just gonna get this conversation out the way,
right?
And
then it never goes well, bro. Yeah. It never goes well. Never goes well.
I know. I've seen it happen.
A conversation like that, man, should have been like in an office. You know what I'm saying? I should be like, listen,
They're in the hallway having a conversation.
Hallway.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so the conversation should have been like, hey
Mm-hmm.
man, let's go downstairs to the principal office and let's go talk down there, right? Because you have a lot to say and I have a lot to say, right? Can't do it in the hallway or in the classroom, or you know what I'm saying, find an empty room to go to and have a conversation. But sometimes it never happened like that. You know what I'm saying? It never happens. They give them the pass, they go right upstairs, and it's a big argument. You know what I'm saying? So that happened. That happened to even little kids in pre-K classes, man. Parents come there, man, they want to do this. I don't know why.
Pre-K though?
Pre-K,
they drinking apple juice and playing outside.
First grade.
What is there to
first grade in the hood, bro? It's different. It's different, man.
But do you think bullying is like a big reason why the parents come up and do that? Because the one boy pushed the kid down and nobody said nothing about it, and so now the parent hearing about it, and now they feel like they got to step in.
Bro, I believe, I know we talked about it the other day. We said it sometime. Like they get homework to take home. These parents don't know how to help. All right.
Yeah.
I know Ike goes like, man, I don't even know how to do such and such and such and such, right? Sometime, and then the teacher's not patient enough to even try to say, hey, okay, and understand that even the parents may not know how to start it. They could finish it and know how to do certain things, but they don't know how to even start it. And sometimes you have to be compassionate too, right?
Okay.
And if we need better help in our classroom for parents, we have to figure out what each parent needs, man. We have to figure that out, right? And it's not going to take you a week to do that, but it's important that you figure out what the help that the teachers need, so you can help them with that. I mean, what the parents need, and you have some parents, half the classroom will be all right. They're good, they got it, but you have that 10% that needed some type of structure of how, and they're willing to learn it because they want their kids to be, you know what I'm saying. But we have to be patient as teachers and educators. We have to be patient too. And sometimes we find ourselves not to, because we're dealing with the kids in the classroom and their kids may be off the wall sometimes, because you do get some off the wall kids, you know what I'm saying? And then
we got the standards too, right? You got to meet those standards, and you got that pressure.
Right. So if you could do that with them and also with the parent too, it'll help your life, man, a whole lot. And I have 8th grade, and I have some kids, man, up to this day. They look out for me.
Tough year, man.
Bro,
That's
8th grade?
Tough year.
People afraid of 8th grade, bro. I love it. I could tell them sit down and shut up. You know what I'm saying? Where the little ones, I had 4th grade, man. This Bannister school, man, I hated it. I hated that class. Bro, I used to go home and sleep. I had 3rd grade.
But keep it on your toes.
Bro, 3rd grade, I used to go home and straight sleep, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I hated that class.
So, bro, let me ask you a question to kind of move into the other part. And this is good, man, because you had a lot of experience in the classroom, and it kind of gets in what we want to talk about. So when we think about bullying, right? So in our generation, we understood, I think, that the answer to approaching a bully was like, oh, they're bullying you? All right, bet. So when you go to school the next day, you walk up to them, you don't say nothing, and you just wail on them, and just go ham.
Right.
And whether you win or lose the fight isn't the point. The point is they understand that if they mess with you, then this is going to be the result every single time.
Every single time. What's the question? What is your question?
Oh, I didn't give you a question. My bad. So my question is, how do we deal with that now in today's world? Because in today, there are other options. There are other ways. And I think maybe just because of the time period I grew up in, maybe that worked for that time. But what's working now? Because now there's social media. There's all these other things. And at some point, we gotta get a handle on this. So what are your thoughts on that?
Now you're going to jail. I could have said you're going to jail. You know hey,
that's real.
If Ike is bullying me, man, and I won't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? People know Ike is bullying me, and then I just get enough courage to walk up on Ike and just start swinging on him.
Yeah.
I waited on him till I knocked him out. Who you think is going to jail?
Yeah.
Not Ike. But
Not
they don't
Ike.
have no
Yeah.
videos of Ike getting at me. They have
Yeah.
videos of me getting at Ike.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So bRho going
Yeah.
to jail, bro.
I think that was always the message that was taught too, right?
That's
It's
all this
not.
message, man.
It's not who hit first that gets in trouble. It's
Yeah.
the person that always that retaliates, right?
Mhm.
And that's always the message that you hear in school. It's the message that you hear at home with your siblings, right? Like somebody hit you and you got upset and then you hit them back twice as hard, right? And they go in the room crying, and guess who's getting the whooping now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that you got to kind of take into consideration in those situations as well too. When you're trying, if that's the message that you're still telling your child, right? Because like you said, if you send your child to school, right, and they at this point they ask, why did you hit him? And you say, well, my dad Kareem told me to, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to answer for that, right?
Yep.
And it's not let's call them up to school. It's now that you're sending your child to school and you're telling him to do X, Y, and Z. So now you're an unfit parent. Now you're on the child abuse list. Now you're gonna lose your job and can't work with young people anymore, right? It's like you said, it's definitely a different day and age. So you got to be extremely cautious when it comes to that. And then the other piece of that is people aren't kids, like young kids. Like that's a message you tell somebody in middle school, high school. Kids aren't always punching back. You know what I mean? Kids are now, have a lot more access to weapons that could really truly hurt somebody, right? Get somebody hurt. The whole notion, that they're hearing, the messages that they're hearing is not punch somebody back. I can't remember when you heard a rap song lately or a popular music song that encourages somebody to fight.
They say clap back.
People don't fight no more, right?
Yeah.
So I'm terrified to tell Eli to go to school and to punch somebody, right? Because I know he's not just. It may not just be him getting into a fight after that, right? So that message has to change completely as well.
I mean, it could be a parent pulling up now because they feel like, your kid did something to their kid, and so now they're upset, and
But
now they feel like I know it does.
Women.
I've seen it.
Drag their kids to school, and be like, "Oh, who's she? That's the one right there." And jump out the car. These little 14-year-old girls, and and some of them is popping off the mouth, and and all that stuff, man. But I say to say
it's crazy. Man. They was at a Sexy Red concert a couple weeks ago. Like
it was.
Yeah, they were.
That mother-parent duo.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that back up. Hey. Shout out to the promoters.
Yeah, shout out to them promoters, idiots. All right. So at the end of the day, man, we have to protect our kids, and there's so much we have to worry about now. About how we protect our kids in schools, especially schools, or even going to the store. You send your kids to the store, bro. They may not come back. You know what I'm saying? Because they may go to school over there on Genesee and they have problem with people in the school. They're like, where you go to school at? Genesee? Yeah. Problem. Because, and what do you do about stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you do about stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Because there are certain things that I have to be a grown-up about. But the idiotic nonsense that I can't deal with it, man. I know that they killed this kid in the Bronx a couple of years ago. They really killed this kid, man, in a shop, and they beat this kid. They killed this kid, man, for no reason because they felt that this kid slept with one of the gang brother's sister, and it was the wrong kid, bro. Wrong kid. It's they just got sentenced. I think last year. They just got sentenced last year. You know what I'm saying? In the Bronx. I mean, they beat this kid and stabbed him up, bro. He died awful, bro. Awful. Right? And me as a big brother, or if that was my son, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? there's no talking, bro. You understand what I'm saying? But and then you still have to control yourself. You still got to do so. It's so much, man. Having kids know these days, man, and living in this country is very difficult. Right?
Yeah, there's no laws. Like there's no unwritten rules that we live by anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like if I knew Brew, right? Boom. If I knew that you had a beef with somebody and y'all was gonna duke it out, right? I knew automatically, like, oh, I'm not stepping in that. Like, he got it. Like, it's between them two. Like, your mans don't come in, and then your mans can't come in. Like, we just gonna let them do the thing, right? And then once it's done, and then you just move on. Well, apparently that's not what we doing in today's world. Like that, like you said, like there is no talking. Now it's I'm bringing this, I'm bringing that, and it's all because your pride and ego got hurt, or you felt like you was disrespected or violated. That's the word I hear all the time, way out of context. But like, so for that reason, now you just put your whole livelihood in jeopardy now, and so now you got to go away for 5-10 years because you felt like you had to protect this person in this way when there could have been a better way. It wasn't like you were stepping in front of them from a bullet, or if you was in their presence and a grown person tried to hit your kid. And I get that, but if we're just talking you hopping out on somebody kid, well, what you expect that parent gonna do now? So now they're going to feel like they do what they have to do. And I haven't heard anywhere in this conversation anybody say, we're going to get the police involved and the authorities and this and that. But
like the kid I was talking about in the Bronx. It was horrible. I just thought about it and I'm mad. I'm mad for some reason, bro. I'm mad. And
because it's ridiculous.
And they got sentenced, and then they're crying. Like, yo, y'all breathing, yo. And I'm looking at it like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of them was on the flight. They got one of them off the flight going back to DR, bro. He made it to the flight. They caught him at the airport.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? He ready to take off. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. And then the shopkeeper too. I would have whooped him too because he could have saved that kid. The kid was asking him, you see it on the video, bro. Asking him, please don't send me outside. Please don't send me outside. You know what I'm saying?
The shopkeeper just as involved in. He
came in and dragged him out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody in the chat know what I was talking about. It's sickening, man. I'm telling you. Y'all could go back and look at it. You'd be like, wow, the video, everything, man. And they
got murals of them up all over the Bronx. They got
crazy, bro. And it's the wrong person.
Yeah, and he was. It was at a gas station where they caught up to him. They caught up to him at a gas station.
I don't know, man. I know in the shop. I know in the store.
Yeah, it was a gas
Chanel, station. They had a machete?
Yeah. Bro. They cutting. I mean, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Stabs, kicking, everything, bro.
Yeah, it was bad.
And me being who I am, just that, that's bro. Crazy. It's not gonna sit well with me here. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Situations like that.
So now when our kids be like, oh, can I go down the street? Can I do that? Can I do this? I'll be like,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
And so going back to the original question, how far would you go for your kids, right? In that type of situation, right? God forbid. What would you do? What would be your retaliation? What would your response to something like that be, right? And this changes up the question a little bit, right? Because it's not I'm going to protect my child. No, it's I have to avenge the stupidity and the ignorance of people. And what would be your response there?
For me, if I can't get to you, I'm gonna set you up. I'm sorry. I come from. I'm just saying, man. There's no way you're gonna kill my son or my daughter or anybody in my family like that, and just it wasn't a one-on-one. I'm gonna find some way somehow, man. Spend some money.
Diddy spent
Yeah,
money
so
to
that-
get people killed, and he's still out here. So
Yeah, I don't have Diddy money, but you know what I'm saying. But I'm gonna spend some money, man. You're not the only, you know. That's just
Yeah,
me, man. I'm speaking for myself.
there's ways. Yeah, it's that's a tough spot, right? And
If I
and
can do
you
if
know
I can do
they
it
say
myself,
they say forgiveness is never for the other person, right?
yeah,
It's for it's for you. I don't know if that's one of those things that I could ever forgive. You know what I mean?
I can't
For
turn
me.
the other cheek.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys,
No.
pastors, deacons.
I would
and
say, man, it would take a lot of therapy and a lot of just a lot.
The other thing is too, like, you know, we all have multiple kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, got like hypotheticals, right? If that happened to one, we still have other children that we have to protect, right?
Yeah. But we can't live in fear, though. That's the tough part. You know what I'm saying? We can't live in fear.
How I think about it isn't even so much from the standpoint of protecting, and maybe and if I'm taking this contextually out of the, you know, framework of that Isaac meant it in, correct me, but when I think protecting my kids, if the extreme ultimate like that happened to my child, to one of my kids, one, I think about the first thing I would do is I immediately connect myself with people who have gone through similar, right? Because I'm gonna need to. I know I'm gonna need to be talked off a ledge to a degree, right? You know, when my brother passed away, my father passed away, I reached out and I talked to people who had lost a brother or a sibling, a close, you know what I mean, sibling. People who had lost their father. Like that was a space that, you know what I mean, they could provide information, insight to, and you know what I mean, to help kind of allow me to process my feelings about it. So I mean, again, God forbid, but I would definitely try to start there, because I know I would need that outlet, you know what I mean, to be able to find some, you know, ask those tough questions to how did you move on after that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the Bible says we have not a high priest who's been touched at all points of our infirmity. There's somebody who's gone through it, who's lived through it, who survived through it. So let me touch base with them first. That's one of the things I would do. And the second thing I would do is to Isaac's point about protecting my kids that's left, is I gotta keep living for them. You know what I mean? I have to somehow allow myself to not become so bitter and vengeful and consumed by that anger and hatred, that I'm not, again, I'm not helpful to them, like, or being consumed by depression. How you protect them is by continuing to live for them. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna need you to be whole as I am now, you know, trying to parent. They're gonna need me to be at least as whole in order to
that sounds good, bro.
Very good. Sounds very good, bro.
Good.
It sounds really good.
I hope and I pray that could be the reality in the
situation. For you, it won't be for me.
I don't know.
I'm just being honest.
I mean, yeah, just, you know,
B, I respect that for you, B, and I'm glad that, because the old B wouldn't say all that nonsense. That's not nonsense, but I know the old B wouldn't say that.
No, but what everything that my love just said is correct. Is correct. What I would deem to be absolutely right, and how I should proceed, right, and how I should live my life. After something like that happens, I just don't know that I could, right? And again, that's me. That's me, my ego, whatever you want to call it, getting in the way of me doing what's right.
It's not ego. In my mind, that's right.
It can't be right?
That's what I'm saying?
Unless killing somebody's right.
At this point, it's right.
That's not right, right? Because that will be my response. It's not right.
So
that's my reaction.
I love the humanity, man, in this conversation.
Hey.
And I love the fact that we don't all agree on the same thing, because this is something that we know people right now that are dealing with every single day. They got to make a decision on, hey, am I going to let this thing consume me? Am I going to do what I need to do, what I feel I need to do is right in my heart, whatever that thing may be? Am I going to forgive them and pray for them and really hope that there's some closure, and go through that process? I mean, these are hard issues that a lot of people are dealing with, man. And it's tough. But the one thing I will say that is important in all of this, man, is having that group or having those close people that's going to be able to just help you through it, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of days and nights where, you got the toast, you know what I'm saying? And you thinking like, hey, we about to, you know what I mean? And somebody gotta be like, yo, hold on. And they gotta remind you about all the reasons why you're here and all the reasons why you living, on this earth, man. So, hey, I'm not saying anybody wrong or right. I'm just saying that this is a real conversation, because this is tough.
Yeah, the feelings are real, right? The feelings have to be acknowledged, and the response is what's the tough part, right? The response is what's going to be different based off of where people are in their life, right? If they're depressed, right, and they can't get out of that state, like their response to that situation is going to be different for everybody. So I can't say what's right or wrong either, because I know what my feelings would be in that situation. Or I assume I know what my feelings would be in that situation, right? But I can't say for sure how I would react and how I would not react.
Do you think it would be some sort of consolation if we felt like the judicial system actually operated in a way that we felt is fair? Like, would that bring some sort of consolation?
Nah, if they could have brought everybody that was involved in that situation to justice, whatever justice is, right? And I would still feel the same way, right? I don't think a verdict would change any of that.
I think I for me, slightly a little bit, yes. If I know like these dudes, like I know two situations, bro. Two situations. A situation in my hometown in Jamaica. There's one dude, man, because his aunt didn't want to give him any money. This dude killed even a 2-year-old boy, 2-year-old baby. Killed. Right?
No mental health issues? Just did it out of rage?
Listen, man, out of rage. You know what I'm saying? Kill the mama, 2 kids. I mean, she had 3 kids. Single mama too. Single mom, working. You know what I'm saying? Taking care. So, and I know these people, and I looked at it like if there was my own kids, and if I'm over here making bread and try to make it for my family, right? I look into stuff like that. I don't know the kid in the Bronx. I don't know them. I don't know the one in Jamaica. I know they live in my community. I don't know them like that. But because I'm a human being and I have my family now, you understand what I'm saying? I see how stuff is and how this world is very crazy at times. You understand? The world we live in. So the atmosphere that we created for our family, we have to see it. We have to trust certain things, and we got to lean on the people that we care about the most. Right? Bro, this dude, he didn't get the death penalty where he should have got. They should have hang him. You know what I'm saying? The kid in the Bronx, all 4 of them or whatever, 6 of them or whatever the number was, they all should have got the death penalty, man. You know what I'm saying? It would have made my life. I would have felt a lot better. I would have felt a lot better. The way they kill these people, and then y'all gonna say y'all gonna be in jail, eating taxpayers' money and watching TV. There's no way. There's no way.
Y'all ever heard the story of the rape of Tamar in the Bible? Happened in the Old Testament. That's probably, to me, it's a top story for me.
Read it for myself.
It's a top story for me, dog, because so real quick for anybody that's wondering what the story is about. So just to give a long story short, because time is running short, Tamar was raped. And as a result of that, there was shame and there was condemnation and all this other stuff. Tamar's brothers came in and waxed everybody that was involved, killed them all.
Yeah, so you leaving out
it was rough. I know. I'm leaving out a big part of the story, but go ahead, tell the other part of the story. Because when I saw that, I was like,
because bRho talked about the setup. So Tamar's brothers, Reuben and Simeon in particular,
Joseph's brothers,
set up the entire town of men, and they just went through and killed all the men in the town. But they set them up. They set them up. They, so back to bRho's point about setting people up. You know what I mean? It happened in the Bible, and I laughed. Not for anybody. It wasn't that she was violated that made me laugh. It was I knew what happened next. That what I mean. I always found that to be. I was like, man, and when I read this story in the Bible at the time, I was brand new to really reading the Bible. So I was
so you read it early on. You're Christian.
Yeah, so it was like I was like, oh, this how they giving it up. Like, yo, they was getting work like this. Work. So that but imagine one being Tamar, but then also imagine now being part of that village with Reuben and Simeon. That sends a clear signal. If you do this, just gonna be your result. Hey, Kareem, remember what I told you about what happened to my family? I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I do. It's right here. It's right here. Yeah.
That was the fastest I got home to New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's still standing. Yeah. He's still standing. I don't know what jail he's in, but he's still standing. Well, the first 2 jail he was in, boy, he wasn't. Yeah, it happens. I'm leave it like that.
Yeah. I think, man, we look at justice. Justice isn't getting people back. Justice is people getting what they deserve for their actions, or getting the consequences of their actions. So I think the one part that people forget is that you can forgive somebody and release them from whatever it is that they did, but there's still a point of justice. Now, let's just say the person doesn't go to prison, but I believe that justice is going to come around whether we are the ones that do it, or whether it's just going to happen, because that's just the natural consequence of that. But
karma.
What are y'all thoughts about that?
Justice is, man, that's a tough, because who's to say what's, you know what I mean? You got people who write laws and legislate laws, and you know what I mean? So that's one form of quote unquote justice that is defined or determined by the legal system, the legislature, about what is an appropriate sentencing for someone who commits a certain type of crime. And then of course there's a whole different justice system that exists, independent of the legal court system, if you will. And I think who or what is to say what's justice, what's deserving of a particular crime, because I mean, again, I say it from a much different lens and place.
It's draconian.
Somebody might say, I'm saying it from a privileged place, but
in a sense that I'm not speaking from someone who is currently in the middle of or going through, but the reality is man, when you talk about grace, like justice would be for me as someone who is a believer that there is no grace, there is no salvation. You know what I mean? So justice was a certain sentence that should be mine, but you know what I mean. So but I'm not.
There's also mercy too, though. Mercy is you didn't get what you deserve.
Yeah. So who's exacting it? You know what I mean? Is so exactly.
True.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, man, people make laws, right? And the people that make laws aren't necessarily the same. Like some of the laws that were made are outdated, right? They're not. Right. They haven't been updated. With time, with the times, things are different. Life on Earth is different, but some of these laws are exactly the same, right? And I think when you talk about equity and what justice is, like you can't say like, well, this is the law and this is what you have to do because circumstances have changed in certain situations, right? So I think that the answer to that question is never going to be crystal clear and straight cut, because the people that made those laws, if they were living today and they were living in the world we're living in today, they might not have had the same consequence. We might not have the same consequence for whatever action that was as well, right? So I think the justice system is something it's something that's in place right now, but that doesn't mean it's equitable for every situation that happens, and it doesn't mean that that I feel justice is served when somebody gets 5 to 13 years for assaulting a child, right? Absolutely not. You should be in jail for life, right? And that's me and my perspective of somebody that worked with young people my entire life, right? Somebody that has 4 kids. That's my
what did Jesus say about kids?
But
what did
somebody
Jesus say
else
about kids?
may think that's justice is served, right? So I don't know that we'll ever be able to kind of say just because this is what it says in the law, right? This is what in the United States we see as justice. Because you commit that same crime in another country, you litter in what's the name of that? Dubai. There's consequences a little bit different.
That's a dub for you.
It really all depends on the individual and who's looking at it.
Well, brothers, we have 52 minutes, and we starting to get down towards the end, man. This discussion has definitely made me think about some things and about how I view, protection and justice. I will say, man, that a part of protection is prevention. And it's one of those things where, like, if you can't swim, why would you walk in the water type of thing? You know what I'm saying? So, like, why would you go in the water if you can't swim?
Because my name is Peter.
So just stay away from the water. You know what I'm saying? Or learn how to swim. But until you learn how to swim, you don't water.
Yeah, no, you gotta get in the water.
I don't know. They paying lifeguards $20 an hour, man. You might want.
That's a good plug. That's a good plug right there. That's a good plug. Yo, that's one of the highest paying jobs.
If you really can swim, there's a job for you.
Yes, there is. One of the highest paying city jobs for youth is lifeguards, just for the people that's on here watching. So, black folks, we can swim anyway.
Believe that.
Hey, we saw it in Alabama, right? My man got in that water and swam to the fight to protect his bro that he didn't know.
Listen, how far would he go? He would swim across the Mississippi.
Oh man. Hey man, who we need to shout for today? I see a couple folks on here.
For me, man, listen. I want to shout out my cousin, man. She just got a law degree from St. John's.
Congrats.
Shout out all the graduates, man. A lot of people graduated. I see a lot of PhDs, a lot of masters, a lot of bachelor's degrees, man. This is one of my best time of the year, man, just to look back and just seeing people graduated. And just want to shout out all the graduates.
Shout out Twan, man.
Shout out Twan, man.
Yeah.
Twan.
MBA.
Very proud of you.
And the
Very
building.
proud of you, my brother.
Wharton School of Business.
You know what I'm saying? Walter School of Business, man. MBA.
Yeah.
Man, big
Top
ups
school.
for you, boy. Top school in the world. You know, our brother, our frat brother, man, Antoine. Much love, brother. Shout out to the graduates of Brockport, Bowie State University, Morgan State, Howard, all of them HBCUs. Shout out to you guys, man.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on that real quick because no graduate gets to where they are without a whole village of people supporting them, you know what I mean, helping, guiding, and you know, so shout out to the parents, man. Parents, you have done an amazing job. I have a lot of peers whose children have, you know what I mean, you know, that are part of this year's graduating class, whether it be high school or college. So, you know, shout out to all the parents and the villages that are supporting these young people who are doing these amazing things. You know what I mean? Again, PA, we got some graduates. You know what I mean? We got, you know, James Waters the third. We got M-Dub Jr.
Yeah.
You know, again, so we got, you know, and that we talking second generation, you know what I mean, graduates happening. Shout out to my sis Shatara Bowie. She, you know what I mean, she got her doctorate from U of R in education, you know what I mean, a very intense program. So shout out to her. Man. Oh, yo, listen. Jace, man, my man Jay, man, Doc, man. We called him Dr. J.
Am I the only one that can't hear?
His son graduated from Brockport. So to see your son graduate from your alum, you know what I mean? You know, it's got to be big. And he's got his BSN, so he's got a bachelor's of science in nursing, man. He's doing amazing things already. So shout out to, we call him Puka, you know what I mean? So shout out to him. Man, again, I don't want to forget him. Oh, Lil Rod Cox Cooper II, man. Listen, grown man status. India Richards, you know what I mean? You know, another, you know, first that's first fam, you know what I mean? Again, second generation, you know, graduated from Norfolk State. So, I mean, if there's anybody off the top of my head that who I can't recall right now, man, charge it to my head and not my heart, man. Listen, but shout out to the parents and the villages surrounding these young people because, you know what I mean? It takes a village, you know what I mean? So shout out to the parents, you know what I mean, for making sure, you know, you've instilled what you've instilled in your youth and your young people to get up to this point, man. Shout out to my wife, man. She celebrated a birthday on this Thursday, you know what I mean?
Happy birthday, sis.
To the GOAT. And shout out to my sis, Brandy Hayes.
Yeah, you late, but appreciate it.
That's okay. My shout out always gonna be dope. Shout out to my beautiful, amazing wife. Celebrating another year, man. A trip around the sun. It was dope, man. It timed out. So we were getting new carpeting and furniture, and so we had been crammed up and had no access really or use of our entire first floor. But you know, her birthday rolled around, and so carpet got in, furniture got in, and we, you know, so now we actually feel like we getting the house back together. You know what I mean? So
you say you christened the carpet?
No.
Yo, this is a family show.
Yeah, no.
Come on, Pastor. Pastor.
I'm not trying to call the carpet cleaning people on the brand new carpet. They can be like, no, it still smell like new carpet in here. No, we can't. No, yeah. How you need us? Don't worry about it. Mind your business. Yeah. No, again, it was a dope birthday weekend. And just, you know, just shout out to her, man. I appreciate you for doing being amazing.
No doubt. Well, I want to shout out because y'all pretty much kind of said everything already.
Shout out the sis Brandy Hayes.
You hear this, right? You hear this? Oh my gosh!
Shout out my beautiful sister, the one I gave my brother 2 kids. That he's made, that he can see.
Oh my gosh! Well, I want to shout out, man. One of my best friends, man, from middle school, Dwight Johnson Jr., who is now Dr. Dwight Johnson Jr., man. So definitely want to shout him out for sure, man. Him and sis, you got 2 doctors in the house now, 2 Dr. Johnsons, man. So definitely want to shout him out. I was at his defense.
That's like the Cosbys, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So shout out to them, man, and the work, that they're doing, and to their family, man. So I wanted to make sure I shout him out. Want to shout out, man, to my pastor, Melvin Cross Jr. Had a chance to catch up today. So just kind of reflecting on, when we started the church to where we are now, and just, all the things that, God has done between now and then. Want to do that. And, shout out to James Waters Jr., our brother, man. Yeah, we love you, bro.
Congrats, man.
Like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, shout out everybody in the chat. We appreciate y'all coming on, logging in, chatting it up with us. Latoya, we definitely appreciate your insight for the last few weeks. We definitely look forward to seeing you next week as well, too. Bilal, I see you in the chat as well. In transit, appreciate you, bro, for chiming in as well. And then shout out to Miss Chanel Jeffries, who also just had a birthday. Happy 90th birthday to you. Or however, I don't know, something like that, however old you are. But happy birthday, Chanel, man. We appreciate you chiming in every single week, or, every other week. Shout out to all the Black people on this beautiful earth doing amazing things. We appreciate you all. We appreciate all the Black people selling Black stuff to Black people that give us Black nutrition, and some of us clog our arteries up too. But we definitely want to shout out all the hot dog makers, man, because if it wasn't for the hot dog makers, man, Kareem wouldn't have been able to bring meat to the house when we was in college, man. So shout out the hot dog makers. Shout out my dean, man. Dean, man, I love you, man. I appreciate you.
I love you, my brother. I love you.
Yes, sir. Shout out Ezra. Thanks for holding down the house. Shout out all my 4 beautiful kids, man. They know I would do anything for them. And I just pray, don't let the necessary occur. That's a Jay-Z line, right?
Yeah, if you didn't steal it.
Yep.
All right. That's all I got, man.
All right, bros. Everybody else that's been listening, we thank y'all so much for being here with us on Bro Talk. Good night.
Good night, sis.
She don't care.
Later, Brandy.
Happy birthday, Carla.